Thanks for tuning in. This is the Pete Wong Podcast about sharing the things that I love with those that I love. I find inspiration kind of everywhere. I've always wanted to just talk about these things. People have told me time after time, why don't you just share more of you? And with week to a new episode of the Pete Wong Podcast. How is everyone's week going? I hope everyone, those of you that celebrated Labor Day holiday, had a good time with your loved ones. I definitely enjoyed my day and was able to relax and just enjoy it. All right. Well, I really just want to first thank everyone for all the support, all the reaching out and letting me know your thoughts regarding the podcast. And we're looking to do some cool things in upcoming weeks. I'm very excited to be sharing more stories with you and introducing you to some of my friends and possibly family members. So look out for that. And I'd like to just get going here and just get started. So let's start with chapter 4. This one is entitled Moment to Moment to Moment. Quote, "Life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away." Unknown. End quote. As I reread the quote from up above, a sincere smile appears from my face. I love this word. Moment. In the past, I had a hard time applying the word and its meaning to my life. It shouldn't be such a complicated thing, but for me, it felt like it was. What was it that made it so complicated? Me. It was always me. You see, I used to be someone who worried a lot about the future. I worried about it a little too much. I became so concerned with it, especially the unknown future, that I spend most of my time daydreaming or thinking so much about it that I hardly got anything done. I got so busy thinking and worrying, eventually it started to feel like life was passing by. And the worst part was, it took such a long time before I even noticed that it was. At the same time, I was also enthralled with the past, also a little too much. I thought about the past a lot. I held on to it with an iron fist. I thought about the pains of the past, how people who were in my life are now gone. Or sometimes I would be thinking, could or should I have done something differently to change the outcome? I used to think that the best parts of life was ahead of us or behind us. But I was wrong. Big time. If we live life this way, we only hurt and set ourselves up for much disappointment and probably much more therapy than anyone should be required. I've changed my way of thinking and now believe and know, this is in bold, the best moments in life is the one that is happening right now. I'd like to repeat that. The best moments in life is the one that is happening right now. Let's try something. Stop whatever it is you are doing right now. Well, besides reading this book, Close your eyes. Go ahead. It'll just be just for a minute. Now, relax your body and sink yourself into a relaxed posture as best as you can. Don't fall asleep though. In doing so, try to quiet the noise or quiet the noises that surround you. Not ignoring them, but also not paying attention to them. Do pay attention to your breath, though. Breathe from your nose. Take a deep inhale. Hold for a count of 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good. Now exhale. Exhale all of it. Again, a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. What did you feel? What do you feel? What do you feel in your body? What do you notice? What do you hear? What are your different senses doing? Try it again, only this time, try and see if you can let go of resisting against your body. Repeat as many times as you wish. Good job. Now, just relax and let's break this down some more. Why did we do this? Hopefully, through practicing this exercise, you will be able to notice the following. 1, you are alive. Check. 2, you have a breath. And isn't just knowing this something pretty amazing? Check. 3, you have this capability of doing something, anything, right now, even if it's making the choice of doing nothing. Check. Congratulations. You were present in the moment. You weren't off thinking about what's on your to-do list or taking the clothes out of the dryer. Not at all. You were right here, right where you needed to be. You can practice this anytime, anywhere, especially when you feel overwhelmed or filled with some amount of anxiety. If we practice this more often, allowed ourselves to not think of the past just for this moment and not worry about the future just for this moment, then wouldn't it make this a great moment? The one that is happening right now, right at this instant. This moment that will never happen again. At least not in the exact same way. Let's not be so concerned about whether it's good or a bad moment. That's not important. Just accept this as a moment. It's your moment. Let that marinate in your hearts, minds, and souls for a bit as I take you on a quick, brief detour. One of the reasons I fell madly in love with theater when I began to study acting was this whole thing about being in the moment. Or how I like to put it, moment to moment. When I began to act on stage, I was terrified at first. I think it was because I was nervous about screwing up and making a fool out of myself and possibly putting the scene I was doing with the other actors to shambles. I was so concerned with trying to make everything perfect that I would get all worked up inside, and because I was so busy preparing for what I was going to say next, most of the time I would miss the cue. Parentheses. A cue is a signal, action, or lines an actor says before another actor says theirs. Parentheses. It's okay. I didn't know what this was at first either. Whenever this happened, the actors and I stood there momentarily lost, trying to figure out who was going to say what or what was going to happen next. I felt bad, embarrassed, and remember thinking to myself, I must really suck at this. Truth was, I didn't suck at it. I just had to learn how to be more present and more truthful in the moment. I kept learning and kept practicing. Even worked with the actors who were really into it and more experienced, which was also a good thing. Because working with them, I learned that a scene never truly falls flat, as they or you can help keep the scene going. They totally saved my butt a bunch of times. As I took the craft more seriously, took the time to memorize and learn my lines, I began to see what it meant to be in the moment. Eventually, I became the more experienced actor and understood how to play more and accepted forgetting your lines or stumbling was part of the process. Whether you hit your mark or cue, knew where to step and when or didn't, it was all a part of the process. Quote, when you can let go of what you had no control of in the first place, what was in the past and what is in store for the future, you can then play in the moment, and playing was the most beautiful thing. End quote. When you allowed yourself to be engaged in the moment, the other actors and you would be in the moment creating the scene and telling your story, but telling it as only you could together. The more you listened to the other actor you were playing a scene with, the more you would be tuned in the moment. Almost as if you are forced to be in the moment without having to even try. So, if you don't know, just let go and listen more. Listen to everything around you, from the littlest to the biggest of details. Theater and acting trained me to be a better practitioner at appreciating the moments on stage. It helped me see the value in practicing letting go more, listening, and the beauty of playing in the moment. All things that later on would help to be applied to other aspects of my daily life. I'm going to get a drink of water before I do this next quote. We're getting into it, aren't we? All right. Quote, there are no ordinary moments. I give everything I do, walking, breathing, eating the same attention that you give to a double somersault. End quote. Elon Musk. Everything great can and will only happen in the moment at hand, not in the distant past, and certainly not in the future that has not even happened yet. These are just illusions of what we want, not what is. Quote, past and future are illusions. Give them no energy. Only the present is real. End quote. Another quote I like from Elon Musk, founder, CEO, and lead designer of SpaceX, co-founder, CEO, and product architect at Tesla, Inc., and co-founder and CEO of Nutralink. Have you ever been so caught up in a conversation with someone that before you notice it, 2 hours have flown by? How does that happen? This is the result of you and, parentheses, hopefully, the other person or whoever is involved being in the moment with each other. It's a wonderful feeling too. And this to me is what it means to be living. This is the kind of interaction that only our human physics in all the elements, atoms, and energies in the world make happen. If at any time you are engaged in an interaction with someone and during this interaction your mind is someplace else, wanders, or doesn't want to even be there, then this moment will turn out to be quite different and probably less desirable. When we let go and make the choice of being fully engaged in the moment without thinking, without thought, then this is being in the moment to moment to moment. Try thinking of other examples that this might occur in your lives. Remember me telling you about my car accident? I know not the most pleasant of memories, but I was definitely in the moment then. When I knew that I was about to collide into the oncoming vehicle and did my best to pump the brakes just mere seconds before the impact, time froze for a brief moment. When it was all over, I was shaken up for a few minutes until my body calmed down and realized what had happened. Of course, this is not a moment I want to occur often or at all, but just trying to give another example. Whether it was a pleasant moment or not very pleasant, the point is the practice of being present more and more. I'm really proud of this next story here, so give me a second. Another very personal story that helped me understand this was the last time I saw my Grandma Wong. I had received the news from my family that Grandma had fallen and was now in the nursing home, and given that she was already 100 years old, we all knew what this would probably mean. That moment when you have to sit in the hospital or nursing home and wait as someone you have shared so much of your life with now lies there, possibly breathing their last breaths forever. For some, this moment can be a very difficult thing to go through. I know, for me in the past, I always had a hard time with it. I never know how to feel, what to do, or how to react. It was one of those things in life that you know is part of growing, and especially as we grow older, at some point we have to deal with it. You want answers. I wanted to do the right thing, but I also didn't know what this meant. How should I feel? When you feel a part of your life, the part that you at one point maybe when you were younger felt so at ease with, so comfortable, was slipping away and forever, and you knew there was nothing you could do about it. It was inevitable. You want to cry. You want to be happy. You want to believe that things are going to be all right, but right now everything feels not right at all. We sit laughing at the stories and memories we all once shared. But inside, we know that sooner or later a cloud of sadness will be rearing itself to us, and we know it's going to feel ugly. What do you do? How do you act or react? For me, at some point, I took a chance and made the decision to let go of all my thoughts. Let go and trust in the universe. That whatever was supposed to happen will. Let go and try to just remain in the moment and be your best in that moment. As my grandma laid there, her response limited, we surrounded her with love as best as we could. I played her Chinese music and YouTube clips from my smartphone and Chinese opera as I remembered how much she liked that. I wasn't even sure if what I was doing was the right thing. I just did it because that's what I felt I needed to do at the time. I got rid of trying to make my last days with her perfect and just wanted to be there with her, just to be present for her. The last time I saw my grandma before she passed, I remember it was late, and I knew that it was time for me to go home. Despite the situation of us not knowing how long she had and after dedicating as much time I could visiting her, I had to continue on with my life and responsibilities that were set for the next day. Before I left, I said my goodbyes. My sister-in-law, Ada, was there with me and reminded me that I should circle around to the other side of the bed and speak to her good ear. Feeling every inch of love in me, having let go of any previous concerns or whatever decisions and actions my grandma made to our family, and not feeling angry or sad about the possibility of losing her, I decided to whisper in her ear something, and this is what I said in my best Cantonese. But I'll say it in English. Quote, "Thank you, Grandma, for everything you did. I'm so grateful to have had you as my grandma. I will miss you and love you forever. Thank you." End quote. I left the nursing home that evening knowing it would be the last time I'd see my grandma Wang. But before I left the room, I'll never forget the smile she gave me after I whispered in her ear those words. It left a lasting, powerful, even magical impression that will last with me my entire lifetime. The reason why I share this story is because I had to accept letting go. Because I let go, I was able to connect with everything that was happening. I didn't have the answers, but I didn't need to. Life showed me through just being. There are many things that will happen throughout our daily lives. If we aren't careful and are more consumed by something in our past or something that we wish to happen for the future, we just might miss out on this great opportunity that is right before us. Perhaps a moment that may change your life or someone else's forever. I encourage each of you to practice being in the moment more and more. With much practice and discipline, before you know it, you'll be living your lives moment to moment to moment. Imagine feeling like this, living your lives like this, in the moment, filled with full attention, calm, and in tuned. Keep practicing, and in time, you will be able to be more present in everything you do, and you will feel awesome you did. End chapter. Bullet points to be mindful of. Bullet point number 1. If we choose to live in the past, we will continue to hurt ourselves. Holding on to something that doesn't exist and is not in our power will eventually destroy us. But the thing is, it never was in our power in the first place. Bullet point number 2. If we choose to live for the future, we might set ourselves up for disappointment, and eventually this will destroy us. Similar to the past, we want something that hasn't occurred yet, and it is not in our power. So worry less about it and get back to the moment happening right now. Bullet point number 3. This moment you are creating, the one that is happening right now, will never be the same, ever. Bullet point number 5. Practice letting go. Bullet point number 6. Practice listening. Bullet point number 7. Playing in the moment is a beautiful thing. And the last bullet point, number 8, is smile and breathe. You are alive. That's it for chapter 4. I'm sure you can tell, but I really love talking about being in the moment and just being present for your life. It is an honor to be able to share this deep, important perspective with you, as I feel it very special. Something very special, and something that I believe that we all should really take stock in practicing. Believe me when I say it. The more you practice, the more life will be so enjoyable. You won't have time. You won't have time to allow some of the negative stuff to get in your way. So just want to leave you with that, and please remember to share this episode with those that you love, with those people in your lives that you think could really use this, and listen to it again and again if it helps. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Instagram, the Pete Wong Podcast, on Facebook, and I hope you enjoyed this one. We got more coming, but this one was definitely a special one. All right, everyone. So this week, let's all practice living in the moment, moment to moment to moment. Thanks again for taking the time to listen. We'll catch you next week. Enjoy the rest of your week. And remember, you are loved, you are enough, and you are worthy. Blessings to all of you. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time. Remember, you are enough, you are loved, and you are worthy. Blessings to all of you.